So, hi everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Claire. This channel is about empowering your twin flame journey, your inner divine feminine, your inner divine masculine. There's healing weaved in everything that I do, and I'm not going to do, and that's enough of an intro. Let's just get on with this. So, again, I'm filming the reveals for the membership pick a cards, and I just felt like pulling myself a couple of cards, and these came out, so I really do feel. And when I say I really do feel, that means it's a stronger message. Wait a minute, I'm going to pause this. Can you hear all the... Wait a minute, actually, that's quite powerful, because these are inner child cards, and can you hear all those kids? I don't know how you couldn't. That's got to be a school trip or something. God, it sounds like there's hundreds of them. That means something, because this card, well, you can read it. Let your inner wild child run forth. And all those kids are sounding pretty wild and noisy out there. So this was whenever I pull myself a card, like I always take it the first card. It's just like how I do it for you. So the first card's like the divine feminine part of me. The second card's the divine masculine part of me. Also, look, 29th of November could be significant with the cards. It's calmed down a bit now. I was going to pause it, but it's totally part of the message. But yeah, like I said, and when I say I really do feel that's a stronger message, like it just means the message is even stronger. Like it's going to really resonate for someone. So, right, so let's see. There's a wild aspect to being a child, a sort of carefree naivety partnered with an intense connection to our senses. Children feel things more deeply and experience the world more through their bodies and their minds. They have little care for how things are supposed to be. While this is obviously not a place that we can continually reside as adults, there's magic to be had in connecting with this mindset again. And the playfulness exercise is one of the best ways is to be wild, is to be messy. Go barefoot in the mud, play outside in the rain, finger paint, splatter paint, or even body paint. Get a group of friends together and have a water balloon fight. Be the most unapologetically unproductive. Be the most unapologetically unproductive you can while doing something playful with your body. Find pleasure in this wild abandonment and let go of the notion that you're supposed to act as a certain way as an adult. Your inner child will be delighted and thrilled to run wild with you again. So I don't know about you, but I think the one that most is appealing to me is it's meant to be raining. Definitely, I know tomorrow it looks like it's raining like all day. But even like later on tonight, it's going to be raining too. So it's like I definitely feel like I want to go and just get out there. I love walking in the rain. So whatever appeals to you. Responsive journaling prompt. How does it feel to be messy? What does your adult self feel? What does your inner child feel? Is there anything stopping you from allowing yourself this pleasure? So that is important because a lot of people, I've observed. I'm sure we've all observed that either with other adults, like helping children, whether it be like in a school or a nursery or just and if you've got children in your family or what I mean, anywhere you're around children, I'm sure we've all observed other people with children or yourself like that basically don't like children getting too messy. You know what I mean? And it's kind of funny because it's a lot of the time it could be if you've got really strong like Virgo placement somewhere, you might like get the ick at like a lot of mess and stuff like that. But it's funny, isn't it? Because like that card just says, like children are meant to get in a bit of a mess, whether they're feeding themselves or um playing with paint or toys or whatever. Like, that is the part of being a child. So there is something in that it's like, whether you are taking care of a child or, more than one or whether this is just talking about your inner child, because that's what these cards are about. But it is, I feel this will be about actual children as well. Just, let the mess happen. That's what I feel I want. Somebody needs that today. Like, just let the mess happen. Like, let them have fun or let your inner child have fun with the process. You know what it really reminds me of? I've like over the years, I've worked with so many artists, and really like helped awaken people's dormant gifts, like as in perhaps you did have a real talent for drawing or painting or something like that, or even dancing and stuff like that when you were younger that you put on the back burner for whatever reason, because you know it's like, oh, it's time to grow up, and you know that was when I was younger. But that is what's magical about the new earth, and that is why, you know, one of my taglines is my gift is helping you find yours. Um, is, you know, I love watching that when somebody finds like what they were good at when they were younger and they pick it back up again and it actually becomes a hobby, and then that hobby turns into like a career, and then that career can turn into a total calling, you know, and then look at the times reaching 555. And yeah, there's so many people over the years that I'm really proud of that that have picked back, you know, picked back up the paintbrush or picked back up the pen. And like I said, it's just very humbling and proud of myself that I've been a big part of people's journey in doing that, including my own mum actually. Because like I said, there's so many people that I've helped do that with that it's over the years that yeah, there's loads it's just it's a big part of my calling. And it's not even necessarily things that I do myself, to be honest. It's like I said, that it's particularly art. I've helped a lot of people with drawing and writing as well. So it's drawing, painting, writing, dancing, singing, you name it. And obviously like psychic gifts and stuff like similar to what I do. Um, but it's just wherever something was kind of pushed down in you and it was time for it to come back up and pursue it. And this is the times that we're in, you know, like, because that's what particularly I'm thinking it like, so for instance, like going back to my mum, because she won't mind, I've given that example before, that my mum was really good at painting in particular at school. And then, yeah, she just kind of put that on the back burner because, you know, back in the day, you know what I mean? She had her family and followed other pursuits. So it's been quite nice in the last, you know, sort of 5 or so years to see my mum like picking up a paintbrush and like she really enjoys it, you know, and she goes away sometimes with her friends like up north and stuff like that, and or just wherever, you know, her and her friend like every now and again going like wee weekends away and stuff, and it's like, or even just here, like she's, you know, painted the sunset and stuff like that, and it's really lovely, and it's and other things that she'd, you know, that she'd stop doing. So it's, you know, it's never too late, basically. You know, I'm not telling you my mum's age because I don't usually appreciate that, but it's never too late to like pick up things that you thought, you know, were, you know, just something that you done when you were younger. So I don't know who needs to hear that. And it doesn't need to be about drawing or paint. Like I said, it could be absolutely anything, but just it's time to get a little bit messy. That's what I'm hearing here. And especially if you're looking after children today or whenever, and you've got that urge in you to like, you know, tidy up absolutely everything like whilst they're doing it, just let the mess happen. Let the mess happen. And then once they've finished and got bored and they're on the next thing, then you can tidy it up. Just let the mess happen. That, I don't know why I keep saying that, but I keep just saying let the mess happen. Because life is like that. Sometimes it does need to get messy. And sometimes it can be really fun letting it get messy. Because what they're showing me clairvoyantly is, you know, when I've helped people with bringing back their gifts, particularly when it's around art, is some people feel like they have to. It goes back to, you know, when you're drawing a pictures of as a kid, like you feel like you have to get the praise for like, oh, that well done, that's really good and everything. But like I always say, I say the same thing, but it's because it's true. Like when I worked as a child counsellor in a school, um, you weren't actually meant to be like, oh, well done, you know, that's amazing. Like you're just meant to observe what the person has done. Like, so if they picked up a black paint brush and all they done was smudge the black paint everywhere, then you're just like, oh right, I see that you've gotten the black paint and you've, you know, you've done a swirl. Like literally just comment on what they've done, because like they might actually be trying to tell you something through the picture. Now again, I have to stress every time I say that, don't analyse every single child's drawing around you. But I mean, if you're like me, I do, right? Like I just do, because I can always find meaning in it. But what I mean is, in that context, I was a counsellor, so you know, in that context, it was like, you know, that I do just feel that, you know, the child knows it's in a safer environment, and they do it wasn't really that. It's not the same as if you're at your kitchen table or something, or you're at your granny's or something, and or you're just at your own kitchen table and you're drawing a picture. It's a bit of a different environment, and that is where children do want praise for drawing a nice picture and that. But in that environment, it was important not to do that. So again, it's important that you know where you're at and what you're there to do and who you're be. If you're there to be the mum or the dad or the auntie or the granny or the or whatever, then wow, what a great picture, you know what I mean? But in that context, I was there to be a professional, and yeah. So whatever that means to you. But the point is like as an adult, because I've also done things around art therapy and like I've also been a part of like doing that for myself, like me just being messy with it. Because I noticed when I go to, I can hesitate at first to like, I want to get everything in the right place. Like I'm thinking more when I was doing like a gluing thing, like in a counselling course where you could draw, you could paint, you could also stick stuff on the picture. And I just really went to town with it, and people were coming over like, wow, Claire, that's really amazing and stuff like that. And like I was like, really, like, you know what I mean? I didn't really think, what I mean, when I was looking at it, I just kind of thought it looked a bit I thought it looked a bit messy. To me it looked a bit messy, but other people seemed to think it was quite amazing. So I think that's the point. You might think what you're doing isn't very good, but other people kind of think it's amazing. But even if they don't, it's just the sheer fun of getting messy. So that was a lot that came through with that. That's pretty powerful. And I'm definitely going to take that on board as well. The next time, like, my nieces are around and like we've got all the stuff out and that. But I'm usually pretty good with that. Like I do just let them make a mess. Do you know what I mean? And then I tidy it up afterwards, just like what I just said. But it doesn't mean that sometimes you've got an urging you to tidy it up right as they're doing it, But what I would say is if you do have it, just, go and you do something else. Like, still keep an eye on the kids, whatever age they are, if they're needing, closely watched as whatever they're doing, but like common sense. But it's like, resist the urging you to tidy up because it's fun, to make a mess. Now again, the way that I channel, that could absolutely be, it's healing. That's basically the point, it's healing. And I know that a lot of artists will agree with me when you say that, you find yourself within the mess. Like you start painting something and then you realise like, and you just kind of don't put restrictions on what it's going to be. And then it can end up being a masterpiece. Like I'm sure some people's artwork that you started off not knowing what was going to be ends up being your greatest pieces of work because you didn't restrict yourself. You see how that can have meaning in other things in life. Like perhaps this is talking on a more serious note, that like maybe you've got into a bit of a mess in your love life and it's like you got a bit messy and now it's difficult, but it's the time to clean it up there. That you see how that could have a different meaning behind it, or it could be any area of life, but that just spoke to me there too. So and on this note, we're now moving on to, this is the masculine energy, and look how I knocked the phone as well. So see, when I knock the phone like that, that's the karmic energies not wanting me to get this message out. Oh my god, and I think I just cut my chin I just lifted the book up and gave myself a paper cut. So yeah, there's a lot, see what I mean? Things are getting messy. But and there might be something about November here too, so specifically 29th of November, or this could be the 29th of October, or the 11th of October too, but this could also be something about November and specifically 29th of November. It doesn't need to be any of these things, but what we want and what we need can be two very different things. When this is the case, our wants and needs could differ between self-indulgence and self-care. Yeah, wow. So see how that totally fits. Things could have gotten really messy by doing what you want when you want. But actually part of the self-care could be, now it's funny, isn't it? I've just said get as messy as you want, but now it's like part of the self-care could actually be to tidy things up. Like, perhaps, like this could be like you've gotten so self-indulgent that it's like you need to sort of now, like, and think about it with what I was just saying there, like that is, you could use the analogy of actual children or like your inner child running amok. It feels like I'm talking about both things at the same time because I'm just letting the guide speak through me. Like, let kids make a mess or let your inner child have fun and make a mess, 1444. But then if you just completely live in the mess and you literally never tidy any of it up and you just keep adding to the mess, like in your life or literally, you would just be surrounded in mess, and then it'd actually make you feel kind of depressed, a lot of people. But again, it depends, because a lot of people, if you're disassociated or, numbing it all out, you could quite just happily live it. I mean, listen, full exposure there or whatever, like, full transparency, that was me once upon a time, where I was so disassociated, I was just walking around the mess, like, whereas now I'm never going to be the tidiest person going, like, it just isn't. I was going to make a joke there, tidy means sorry, but it's like, what I mean, I'm never going to be. I don't never say never, but you know what I mean? It's like I don't aspire to be somebody that's got like a show home or something. It just isn't me. Like, I'm always going to have a lived in house. And there's always going to be piles of clutter, because it's just part of having ADHD, dyslexia, dyspraxia, and all the rest of it. But I'm really quite proud of myself that more so than not, I have to do the dishes. I have to, whether it's doing the dishes in the sink or I've got a dishwasher, so chucking them in the dishwasher, a bit of both, because I like doing the dishes too. But, and it makes me feel more, it just makes me feel more at peace and happier. But like I've said before, I'm not going to lie, there are certain moon periods, and it usually is what we're in right now, a Cancer moon or a Pisces moon, where sometimes I've just got absolutely no energy, and like I have to resist the urge to tidy it right now and just be like, you know what, that can wait. You know what I mean? And so somebody else needs to hear that too. Like, maybe the mess is that it's like not, it's not like a fun mess, but like maybe the self-care that you need is just to look after yourself because you're tired, that's quite deep as well, right? Okay, so if you've pulled this card today, it might be time to reflect on the difference between these two in your life. So remember, self-indulgence and self-care. It'd be kind of like if you're always letting your inner child win and you just eat what you want when you want, but then, not everyone, because some people's metabolisms are magic like that. But if you just eat what you want when you want, letting your inner child and your unhealed shadow do that, you're going to end up more than likely putting on a lot of weight. And then if your inner child's just like, I don't want to exercise either, well, then you're going, basically the weight is just going to pile on. And it could lead to you feeling very unhappy, so then you need to move to, this is just an example, but it will make sense to whoever. It's, actually it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense to me as well. Like, I've definitely had periods in my life, but I think I'm suffering from periods in my life where I've done that. Like, you know what I mean? You just, like I said, but it just depends on what you're like, because I'm so self-disciplined that I only let it get so far, and then I'll try everything in my power to tidy up the mess there. But like I've said before, be careful if you're around the ages that I am, because especially if you're a woman, because it's not so easy to lose weight, I've found, as it was before, like even doing the same things. But this doesn't need to be about weight, it could be about anything. Basically, if you let your inner child run amok, this is balance. Like, what the message is get messy, but don't get so messy and then not tidy it up and not take care of yourself. But you see how this is blowing my mind, because this can also talk about getting drunk, doing what you want, hooking up with whoever you want, whenever you want, doing what you want, like just basically doing what you want whenever you want. But then it gets to a point where actually you're going to need to tidy that up, because you're going to be left feeling like shit. And you might have hurt other people in the process too. Well, this is getting really deep now. Anyway, I'm here for it though. Honour and self-indulgence is a wonderful way to connect with ourselves, especially when done mindfully. That's what this is about. Balance. Know when it's time to get messy and know when it's time to tidy it up. This is so twin-flamey, like yin-yang. Self-care can require us to do things that might be uncomfortable or unpleasant in the moment, but it'll benefit us in the long run. Yeah, like tidying up the mess. This is so funny, because I'm actually filming this in my bedroom and I'm like, yeah, there's always like piles of stuff in my room that I'm like, I really need to tidy that up, but I don't know where to start. So then I'll just go and tidy up someone else in the house, because I'm like, I don't know where to start. But you see, I'm just letting you into a window of what it's like. Well, not only to be me, but what it's like to have the different difficulties that I've got. It's a constant push and pull of really desiring to tidy it up, but not knowing where to start. So I feel I'm talking about that. For me, that's literally But the thing is, the point is, I do know now that just start somewhere, and then before you know it, you've tied. Because actually, I'm looking at my bookcase, and I remember when I kept looking at that, not knowing where to start. But I'm looking at it, and it's pretty tidy, because me and my niece took everything off, all 4 shelves, dusted, cleaned. She loved doing that actually, because she's got her first house in Virgo, so she likes tidying and cleaning, and that's quite funny. She also likes making a bloody mess. Do you know what I mean? Like, she's a bit of both. Actually, it's a bit like me like that. She likes making a mess in her own room. My sister was saying she doesn't really like tidying it, but she loves tidying here. You know what I mean? And I'm like that too. I'm great at helping other people tidy up their own mess, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and literally. I'm good at helping people with like messy houses and that. But I don't find it as fun in my own house. I wouldn't say in my own life, because I love self growth and shadow work and that. So, but I wasn't always like that. Well, I was always like that, but I suppose I would more have like been happier to help somebody else with their own shit. That was like ages ago now. Because yeah, I'm not a good example, because I do love self growth. Like, it's not just helping other people. Like, I love seeing where I've come a long way as well. But there definitely have been periods in my life, like say probably my 20s, like when I was just getting pissed all the time and living for the weekend. And but that's like what I'm saying, that's when I would have been quite disassociated. Like, and then even when I can think, when I've moved to different places, I would still just be carrying the mess with me because I was disassociated. Where the more I got, the more soul retrieval I done, and the more grounded I was in my own body, the more I was like, what a fucking mess. How have I lived in this all this time? Like, seriously. So I suppose what I'm trying to say to you as well is, this is what's really complex, right? And again, trauma is something I am an expert in. And it's like, whether we're talking about, and as a shaman, a counsellor, a hypnotherapist, you know, a life coach, all these other things that I do, because I do lots of different things, or the work around, you know, children and inner child. Um, it's like, you know, it is kind of, sometimes it can be kind of hard to work when I'm working with people. Sometimes it can be kind of hard to identify, is this person's trauma from childhood, or is this person's trauma from like having different difficulties like ADHD, dyslexia, like autism, you know, and whatever else, all the other different things. And sometimes it's a combination of all of these things. And it can be quite hard to work out, because sometimes people have got a bit of all of that, or sometimes it is just childhood trauma and you've not got any of these things, and sometimes it is that you've got undiagnosed things. It's quite, you know, challenging. But what I'm trying to say is, what I've noticed with myself and working with others, online and in person, that the more you clear the cobwebs, which again, cobwebs are actually symbolic specifically of black magic, by the way. So that's interesting that I said cobwebs. But you know, that can be like people putting a bit of a spell or a curse on you, which, remember, could just be somebody saying you're always going to be like that, you're never going to change. You know, that's a curse. If somebody's ever said to you, you're so messy, you're never going to change, or your life's a mess, you're never going to change, you're never going to mount to any, like, I'm hearing all this horrible shit, so somebody must have said this to somebody, at least somebody watching this. That's a curse. And I'm here to tell you that's bullshit, and you can't change it. You can change it if you want to. And you know what's really weird? I don't think I've ever read that, but they're pulling, oh no, it's not. They're pulling me to a book over there, and I thought it said it's not your fault, but it actually doesn't say that. But it's looking to me like it says it's not your fault from here. That's kind of nuts, because it doesn't even say that. So, but that's the message. Somebody needs to hear it's not your fault. Like someone was putting a curse upon your life. Like, you can change if you want to. Because basically what I'm saying is I've noticed that in myself, and I've noticed it in others that I've helped, that people that would, like, I've known some people to be stuck in the same house or the same job for like 10, 15, 20 years. And then I've done like a bit of coaching with them, or a bit of soul retrieval, or a bit of like however the healing wanted to flow through. And before you know it, it might take 6 months, it might take a year. The person's in a new job. The person's tidied their house that they weren't able to tidy. The person's left the toxic relationship and they're on their own healing, falling in love with themselves, or they've met somebody that's going to treat them right and they're not self-sabotaging anymore. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's a really deep message. So I didn't expect this off the cuff quick reading to go that deep, but it's because I'm just letting God speak through me. It's like, be open for miracles, because I've saw miracles within myself in different areas of my life, and I've saw miracles with loads of my soul fam clients and people in my personal life too that I've supported along the years. Um, yeah, change is possible. So lovely. Today, ask yourself if there is an act of beneficial self care that you've been putting off because it isn't something you want to do. This is your sign to do what you need to do for yourself now. So, and remember, the way I was reading this was divine feminine, divine masculine. So, what I would take from this collectively is there's things that divine masculines need to do that are difficult, but they know it's time to do. So that'll be different for different people. That could just be something as small as not taking everything so seriously and having a bit of fun, like for people that overwork. Or it could be something as serious as I've been in this toxic situation too long. I need to clean my life up and get out of it. Or I've been ignoring my feelings too long. I need to actually confess my feelings to my feminine. Now, obviously, not everybody is at all these bits, but that's, and then look, for the divine feminine, it's like let your inner child run forth. Maybe you've been taking on too much burdens, taking on too much stress, constantly healing yourself for years on end, decades on end, you know, knowing that you're a twin flame, knowing that you needed to do all this, clearing your chakras every week, because this is what I've been doing for, you know, a very long time. Like, you know, like I said, although I've consciously known I was a twin flame for 14 years, I was constantly clearing my chakras and doing all of that long before that too. So we're talking, you know, a long time now. Um, and it can get pretty draining and boring and stressful. And sometimes it's just time to have fun. And it's like that's what I'm laughing at. This is how you need to know your own situation and you need to know yourself well, which is what I meant by I'm not a good example because I'm not somebody that does run away from my own deeper healing. I'm not saying I've never done it in my life because that would be talking shite. Like anyone that tries to claim that would be talking shite. I have done it, but I also didn't numb out my inner child. You know what I mean? Like I've always let my inner child be there because that's what my psychic gifts are, and that's why I'm good at helping other people bring about their talents that they stuff down, no matter what it is, even if it's something that I haven't got a talent in, because a lot of the time it is, you know, like I said, if I pick up a paintbrush and all that, or a pen, I can usually do something pretty interesting, but it's probably because I'm just allowing it to channel through me and it's like, you know, it's a guide work of it, but it's kind of like, it's more just like, that's why I keep it as my gift is helping you find yours. I just help people awaken what was lying dormant in them anyway, because of that freedom energy. But, oh yeah, so that's basically my shadow. My shadow didn't want to share that, so I'm just what they were saying was in my specific exact to give an example of me to help you with this. This wouldn't be a good example for a lot of people because if you had a drink problem, it wouldn't be wise to I'm just going to have a drink. You know, like say seriously, if somebody was an alcoholic, it wouldn't be wise like I'm going to have fun. I'll just have a couple of drinks. But for me, because I am so like just dedicated to my work every day and helping people with really heavy shit all the time and you know having to move through a lot of challenging difficult stuff on my own journey. When I'm in a safe environment with people I trust, actually, like so when I was away at the weekend there, and I'm you know, but even if you think about that, even that was a sensible decision. I calculated and worked out that I could have a drink on the Friday because that was the night before the party, but we were still, you know, connecting with extended family members and even like family members of the other side of my family that aren't my family, do you know what I mean? Which were all a lot of fun because they're Irish. Um, and I just love Irish people. I keep saying, you know, I don't know what this is in me, but I always say I'm a Sag moon that doesn't travel. But it's like I think maybe it's just hit that time in my life where I'm like, actually, do you know what? Because I've stayed indoors so much and like now I am actually feeling like that and I just think like basically I'm like this is probably the worst time to get that energy in me that I want to go places because I just don't really feel too I don't know. I don't really feel like I want to get on a plane. Look, 2911. My eyes just got drawn to 2911 on the timer when that's what's on the card. So that is going to be, maybe it's someone's birthday, but that's going to be significant to someone. Um, but, um, but yeah, and Ireland's another place I want to go because, like I've said before, you can travel to Ireland in other ways other than a plane, can't you? In a boat and stuff like that. So, um, but yeah, but the point is I had a few drinks on the Friday because I didn't want to overdo it at the party because I knew there was going to be, and there was free drink. Like my cousin was amazing with that. Like both my cousins like had arranged. You got like wee tokens where you could go and get a drink at the bar for free, and but also there was prosecco when you arrived. So, but I thought I've learned from certain weddings and that I've been at that ain't good for me. You know what I mean? So do you know what I mean? That is still quite sensible, isn't it? But I allowed myself to be messy-ish on the Friday, but I wasn't. Like I just literally was fine. Do you know what I mean? But it was fun because I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be so serious about this. I'm going to have a drink. You know what I mean? And it was fun. Right. So, but can I just stress? Obviously, common sense. If you have issues with drink, that's not a good example. So pick your own other thing. What feelings arise when you think about something that you need to do? Because even with me, I've never been an alcoholic or anything, but I'm not. I don't make a secret about the fact that sometimes I'm absolutely fine, and other times I'm like a rag doll. So even that is risky, and that's what I mean. It's like, but I calculated the risks, and it wasn't. You know, it was fine, and it was fine. Do you feel overwhelmed? If so, ask your inner child what these feelings might mean. What feelings arise when you think about something you want to do? How might these feelings differ from what you need to do? Ask your inner child what the root cause of these different feelings is. So if that is bringing up a lot of triggering stuff for you, you know, particularly, you know, this could, any of these can resonate for divine masculine or divine feminine, whatever. But it's kind of like it was coming through like divine feminine, divine masculine, just because of the way that's the order I always do it, and unless I say different. What is it? Why is it so difficult for you to do what it is you want to do? Like, what are the voices in your head telling you that you're not allowed to do that? And maybe it is that, you know, you talk about that with somebody that's going to be able to help you work out what that's all about. And it could be that the voice in your head is not yours, and I'm not talking about in another way. I'm talking about like this could be like a parent's voice in your head, like telling you you're not good enough, or, you know, I don't know, it could even be like a teacher, or it could be like, you know, toxic lovers or friends that you've had around you. But whatever it is, you know, it feels like there's something in here about needing to take some kind of action that might appear to be messy, but in the long run, it's going to help you with what you need. Let's actually, because this has ended up being a bigger video, what else does somebody need to know to go with this? Because it ended up being quite a profound message. Actually, I think that is Mercury. Wait a minute, I'm just going to check. I think Mercury is opposite Neptune right now, if I'm not mistaken. Mercury in Virgo opposite Neptune in Pisces, and I think that has. I'm going to pause this. 33 minutes, divine masculine, forgiveness, Jesus, come to Jesus, forgiveness energy, all of that jazz. Yes, it is. Mercury is indeed opposite Neptune. I think that's where all that profound wisdom has just poured in. Again, I don't look how I'm analysing it. The Virgo, Mercury, planet communication, and analyzer Virgo is analysing it, right? And remember, my sun is in the house of Virgo, so I can be like that anyway. But also don't overthink it, you know, 33. But the Neptune in Pisces, Neptune rules Pisces. Pisces is like, it doesn't need to make sense. You know, it's like I made a quote up years ago, magic doesn't need to make sense. Pisces energy doesn't need to make sense. But it's like, I'm just noticing that what really was quite profound, and I think that's where that's coming in, flooding in from. Look at that. Love it. Love it. It's time to celebrate. Cultivate an air of celebration today. Yeah, so what I'm getting from that is there's definitely something that might feel a bit risky and messy and scary. But when you allow things to get messy and do what you need to do, you're going to be celebrating, right? I don't know who that's going to speak to, but that's the message. It's time to celebrate. Love it. Could be something significant about 20th of November or the 20th of October, because we're not even in October yet, but that's the next one. But anyway, see you later.